day, very warm welcome to this meditation experience. Delighted you can join. And today we have a very cool and groovy topic, which is all about vibe. And this is such a common word for us. It's in our day-to-day language. What's your vibe? I'm getting a vibe. Do you feel the vibe? Vibe, of course, is short for vibration. And it's such a lovely idea because it really acknowledges that we're a very distinct, unique form of energy, which we sometimes refer to as spiritual energy. So we might say they're giving off a very angry vibe. Externally, things could look really lovely and peaceful on the outside. And yet I'm picking up a different vibe. So it suggests that there's this package I'm in, and I am vibrating in a different way, or my energy, my state, it can be quite distinct from the package I'm in. So scientifically, we know that the body is made of matter, elements, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, etc. So very specific energy that sometimes we call matter. But vibe refers to something deeper. And so again, exploring what kind of energy am I as spiritual energy, and what's my capacity? And most interesting, how can that capacity to vibrate at different energy states, how can that support or benefit my own life and perhaps even the world? So let's see how far we get today in our exploration of the vibe. So let's begin as we usually do, seated, I hope, comfortably. If not, arrange things so that you are comfortable. And two things to note, I know we always refer to this, but one is it is ideal to be seated. I know sometimes there's such a pull to want to lie down, which is just a breath away from falling asleep. So if you can remain seated, that's fantastic. And the other piece that also keeps us engaged and alert is if the eyes can remain open, but in a very natural way, not strained. So some things to experiment with. Seated comfortably and starting again with a place I am familiar, the body, the outer world. Taking care of the body by taking a couple of breaths. They don't need to be violent, just a couple of breaths to help the body settle into the space. A breath in, and then an even slower exhale. You can feel the body relax. And perhaps another breath in. And again, a slower exhale that magically can pull my attention into this moment, letting go of everything else. I carry the momentum of those breaths inward, taking my focus from the breath to that place behind the forehead, my own inner world. This is where the non-physical stuff of life happens. Thinking, and therefore feeling, remembering, deciding, experiencing, attitudes, perspectives, perceptions, all of this powerful stuff is housed in my inner world. But who is the resident of my inner world? That is me. I sit here with the feeling that I am the resident of this inner world behind the forehead, seated right in the center. It's almost the feeling in this body of being in the penthouse of a tall building. I can look out to the windows of the eyes. I can listen through the portal of the ears, seated very comfortably in the penthouse of the body. But today, I want to look inward at my inner surroundings. In our physical homes, we take such care in how they are decorated, how they are furnished. We like to create a certain atmosphere, feeling, vibe in our physical homes. I will do the same now in this inner space. I begin to look around at the decorations, the furnishings. What is the atmosphere in my inner world? What's the vibe? Is it one I'd like to be in? Is it peaceful? Is it safe and secure? Is it welcoming and warm? Respectful, uplifting? Or is it a little bit heavy? A little bit anxious? A little bit insecure? What's the vibe of my inner space? How is it decorated? What is the various ornaments in my inner world, and how is it furnished? These are the elements of attitudes, virtues or values, perspectives. This is what is filling the space of my inner world. And the foundation of all of it, all of those furnishings and decorations, is the awareness of self. That is the framework of my inner structure, the sense of self. I have two choices. Do I have a very temporal, ever-changing sense of self, or a more eternal, timeless sense of self? If I have a temporal sense of self, it is very dependent on the outer temporary world, very easily affected, very much about an image. And so my inner world, the vibe, will be very insecure, very sensitive, very volatile. It will not feel safe and secure. And I will give off that vibe. But if my inner sense of self is based on something timeless and eternal, not even dependent on the features of the body, a very pure, beautiful sense of self, I, the soul, the spiritual being, the traveler through time, with these almost superhuman capacities for peace, resilience, love, integrity, really going deeply into that very elevated experience of the self. These beautiful, eternal, intrinsic qualities of the self. Diving deeply into that kind of energy. All created from within the self. As I experience these eternal qualities of the self, completely independent of what's going on around me, I can feel how it's decorating my inner world, even creating a fragrance in my inner world. Very mature, very grounded, very secure and safe, forgiving and warm. A very beautiful vibration. Every thought and feeling I have around my eternal nature as a soul creates another decoration for my inner world, going deeply into peace and love, lightness, bliss, purity, benevolence. All of these great elements of the human spirit, eternal qualities of the self that often seem to be hidden away in the attic, bringing them, emerging them all in the heart, feeling them deeply is changing the vibe of my inner world. A complete renovation. And so now, seated in the penthouse of this tall building of the body, but now embraced by a completely different inner atmosphere or vibe, I now look outwards through the windows of the eyes, letting the vibe I have created inside radiate outside. I'm enjoying this vibration, but now as I acknowledge the outer world, I'm sharing this vibration effortlessly, just by holding it as I interact with the outer world, radiating those qualities I've experienced deeply within the self, the love, the light, the warmth, sending that vibe effortlessly out into the world. I benefit, and perhaps those around me will catch the vibe as well. And even as I come into sound and action, that vibe will be there in my talk and in my walk, vibrating pure feelings, beautiful feelings naturally, moving through the world with a good vibe. Om Shanti.